If you cannot see the weapon, you have no idea it's there. Crime rate. According to concealedcampus.org, since legalizing concealed carry at 9 different universities and 1 technical college, there have been 0 firearm crimes, and substantially less crimes in general. Crime rate has also dropped in the 49 states that have legalized concealed carry of some sort. Despite the fact some states are very difficult to gain a concealed carry permit, crime has dropped. Why, you may ask? Let's take a look at this. If you're going to rob someone, and there's a 50-50 chance that they're going to be armed, are you going to do it? I won't. I'm not going to take that risk. United Kingdom, the crime rate is at a 77%. That is 1.158 million violent acts committed every 2 minutes. They also don't allow guns in their country. They believe, along with our president, that guns lead to crime. The statistic comes from dailymail.co.uk. Based on a survey data from U.S. Department of Justice, roughly 5,340,000 violent crimes are committed in the United States during 2008. These include simple, aggravated assaults, robberies, sexual assault, rapes, and murders. Of these, about 436,000, or 8%, were committed by offenders visibly armed. Visibly armed. Based on a survey from the year 2000, a study published in the Journal of Quantitative Criminology, U.S. civilians use guns to defend themselves and others from crimes at least 989,000 times last year alone. A survey of male felons at 11 state prisons dispersed across the United States, 34% have been scared off, shot at, wounded by, or captured by an armed victim. 40% have decided not to commit a crime because they knew or believed that the victim was carrying a gun. In the current homicide rate, roughly 1 in every 240 Americans will be murdered. Homicide, meaning you were killed by somebody else. U.S. Justice Department studies based on crime data found from 1974 to 1985 found that 42% of Americans will be a victim of a completed violent crime that includes assault, robbery, or rape in the course of their lives. 42%. 83% of Americans will be the victim of attempted or completed violent crimes. 52% of Americans will be the victim of an attempted or completed violent crime more than once. A 1997 survey of more than 18,000 prison inmates found that among these serving time for violent crimes, 30% of the state offenders and 35% of federal offenders carried firearms when committing their crime. 69% knew other criminals who had been scared off, shot at, wounded, or captured by an armed victim. Fatal accidents in 2007. As you can see by this, firearms is in the very bottom. Most was motor vehicle traffic, poisoning, falling, unexpected deaths, or suffocation. Those are the leading in 2007 of fatal accidents. Murder rates in Florida. As you can see right through here, it increased the most in 1980 and started to decrease rapidly in 1986 when Florida passed the right to carry. Murder rates in Washington, D.C. You can see right here in 1972 when they trigger locked in law, that they passed a law where trigger lock was in effect, where you could not carry a weapon unless it was locked by a trigger lock. It skyrocketed just a few later, 1984, it skyrocketed to 80%. Started dropping back down, and in 2006, they released and threw out the trigger lock law. Murder rates in Texas did the same thing as Florida. Skyrocketed from the very beginning. Started to downcrease once they passed the right to carry. In closing, concealed carry permits are for responsible, law-abiding citizens and can help prevent crime. If you look back to the billions of people that have crimes committed to them in the past few years, if half of them would have been carrying a concealed weapon, then maybe half of them would have gotten away without being hurt. So in closing, yes, concealed carry permits are a very needed thing in the United States and growing rapidly. As you saw in other countries, their crime rate is higher because they do not allow weapons, because those commit crimes. I cannot stress enough, people have been killing people for years. Weapons are just a tool. A firearm is just a weapon. So a firearm is just a tool people use to put harm on others. It doesn't matter if you take guns away, then only the criminals will have them. Are there any questions?
No.
Thank you. This concludes my speech.
Thank you, Bruce.